You guys verify? Sorry about this. We were killing it with the fireside chats and everything was like legit. And
Now it's fucked.
sorry about this. We finally make it.
We're good. We're good. I got it on my personal phone.
Nice. It's like a solid 7:10 how we got set up, huh?
You know, it was 10 minutes late. You know, why not?
Stoner time, man. Stoner time. We're always late.
Yeah.
I apologize for all those people that are just joining in. 7:10 was a fun time to start this thing. I got faded myself.
Am here as well. So what's up, everybody? How's it going? It is a pleasure to be here with everyone. Tony, with Cody and Dan from the Dabrite, and with Robert, here to talk about dabbing and the Dabrite and curating your dab experience when you're at home and enjoying it to the fullest potential. I think that's dope. I'm excited about it.
Nice. Good topics there.
So Dan, Cody, sorry, caught you in the middle of a dab. I love the Dabrite. I got mine like right before like they became a little bit more available or whatever. And I had gotten like the pre-order link through a friend and I ordered it, and I don't dab a whole ton. I dab, you know, a few times a day probably, but I smoke a lot of flowers, and since I've had the Dabrite, I've been using it a ton. I've been dabbing a whole bunch more, and I really like that. And it just makes it super convenient and easy. And like, what put you guys here? What got you guys here? Why did you put this product to the market? And like, what made you guys, you know, feel like, hey, we need this. We need to give this to everyone, and we need everyone to have one of these because it's really beneficial for them.
Yeah, I don't know. You want to start, Dan? Or you want me to fire it off, or
It was kind of like a perfect storm in a sense. One of mine and Cody's mutual friends and one of our partners was an old client of mine at a company that I was working at called Prohibited. We were developing products and brands and content in the cannabis industry, and he showed me, you know, some of the tech going on, you know, these days, and he was like, "Hey, man, like, I got this unit. I think you can, you know, try and make something better." And then, you know, Cody and, you know, our other partner, John and Brian had also been talking about this in the back as well. Like, you know, how can we make better IR guns, and how can we, you know, change the game? And, you know, so, you know, Cody has a lot of experience in the glass market and the heady culture. And I have a lot of experience in developing products and bringing things to market. So we all got together, and that's kind of how the Dabrite was born. And, you know, it's been less than a year, or it's been just about a year since we started the project, and, you know, already brought it to market. It's, you know, it's been pretty successful so far. We got a lot of positive feedback, and
Yeah. It seems like you guys are doing really good. There's a lot of positive feedback. I personally, I don't really have a bad thing to say about mine at all. Basically every single one of the dabs that I take off of it is like consistent and almost the same every time. And I haven't charged it since I got it, not one time.
Yeah.
And the battery
Noticed that
icon
too.
is still full. It's totally full. So I love it, dude. It's such a convenient product. It's really changed the way I dab. There was all these like timers and apps and keying and looking, and when the fan was on, my dab would be bad. And then there was the infrared gun, and it was like missing.
How about taking dabs in like a walk-in, like the time difference of
Oh
like,
my God.
it's like,
Cold room.
it's gone. It was like,
In the
what
cold
happened?
room, it's so necessary.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I guess
it's just been great.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I've always like just as soon as like I wasn't into the temp gun because I'm just more of like I want it to be hands free and easy, and I don't want to think about when I take my dab, and like I was an avid temp tech buyer, and like I was the first person that I knew that had a temp tech, and from a collector standpoint, like it serves a good purpose, but like if you have multiple rigs, then we're faced with this problem that you got to stack the temp tech, you got to hold your rig over it, so that's like
You
kind
also
of
got
where
your dab.
yeah, that's where like the gooseneck comes into play and just makes it versatile. And we just wanted to kind of like nail everything on the head in one device and just try to come to market with a finished product and a great name that like stands behind it, and yeah, not forgetting your dab is the greatest thing. Like the temperature is
Oh my
set,
gosh.
the alert, like
When I'm
like,
cooking
yeah.
dinner or something, like I can't tell you how often I cook. I do a lot of the cooking at the crib because I've worked in kitchens almost my whole life before I worked in cannabis. So it's just like I just do the cooking, and I would heat up a dab a lot. Like I started taking bong hits a lot of times because I felt like I would heat up a dab and I'd forget it, or I'd like heat up a
Yeah.
dab and I'm waiting like 2.5 minutes for like
Yeah.
this moment, and I'm just like sitting there like, okay, come on, come on, come on, and like it gives you the freedom to get up and do whatever you're doing. Still, you just set it like 10 degrees hot, and then you're like, oh, cool, it's beeping. I got to run over and get it, and it's fine by the time you get there. It's like
Yeah, we
it's
just,
super simple. I love it.
yeah, we just wanted to, offer functionality. One of the coolest things I got to say is we had a customer reach out to us who's deaf, and he was super stoked that it has a flashing light because that is an alert for him, and it's so it's just little things like that it just it's versatile for all sorts of people, and if you want to
Something
turn
I would never think of.
on the light, like what's that?
That's like something I would never think of. Like the light is super
Right.
cool, and I turn it off, but because I hear the beep and it doesn't bother me. But for someone who can't hear, like that's so crucial and like so cool that it's still convenient for them and simple. And then I think the coolest thing for me is it's amazing for what we do at Blue River, because we do all these. We're obviously all solventless. We do the live rosin thing, but we release these signature extracts that are kind of Tony's brain children, and they're a modge podge of reconstituted THCA, THC, terpenes, sometimes live rosin. There's all sorts of crazy things in them. But for us to smoke those at the same temperature that you would smoke, a diamond dab or even a live rosin dab, sometimes it becomes not the experience that we want to achieve as a concentrate company. I feel like we found that for me, the flan out of the Terp Slurper at like 490 is incredible. And the live rosin for me out of the Terp Slurper at like 525 is like incredible. And, I found that when I use my regular banger, it's like 5 to 10 degrees hotter than it is with the Terp Slurper because it has more marbles. The Slurper has more marbles and stuff in it. It's just like all the little convenient things about dialing your dab in to curate this experience you truly, truly want is amazing. And I think it's not just cool for us, but cool for everyone. Like cool for anyone who smokes whatever kind of concentrates, because if you do smoke diamonds, dialing that temperature is going to give you the optimal experience that you can achieve with them.
Yeah, each one of those
100%.
extracts, if it's like shatter or live resin, live rosin, each consistency is going to have a different, I would say, whether they're raw or active compounds like THCA to THC have different melting points and vaporization points. And then these waxes and lipids that can be found, like going from flower rosin to hash rosin to a live rosin, all of these different types of rosins have different waxes and lipids and things still left in it,
Straight melt,
so
the difference in
they melt,
temperatures and all these things.
and it affects the melting point and thus the vaporization point. And so I think that like a lot of people, it's hard for us. We have to educate people into understanding that as we remove fats and lipids impurities, we make a lower viscosity oil. And when you make a lower viscosity, thinner oil, and you remove those things, you naturally can boost those terpenes. So like, you know, in our live refined rosin sauce, our refined rosin sauce card has nothing reintroduced. It's just a much cleaner oil, and it's hitting like 14.5% terps. Well, that rosin, the live rosin hit 6% terps or 7% terps. So it makes sense that as you clean the fat out, right, and the lipids out, then what you're doing is you're naturally allowing the terpenes to get in a higher concentration, and the oil becomes more viscous, lower, and the vaporization point goes lower. So as we boost the terps, that's our volume for our effect, right? That's our modulation effect. And so we want more terps, but we want them to be stable and we want them to be preserved, but we also want to be able to vaporize them at the right temperature and not combust them so they taste the best and they give us the best effects. And so that temperature is extremely crucial. So whatever it is for each person that's out there, they just need to know that live rosin sitting at the highest temperature, then Toroni at the next temperature, then flan at the lowest temperature because of the purity. So if you look at, you know, the testing overall purity, like flan's hitting like 98%, which tells you if it's 10% terpenes and 98% purity, that means there's nothing, there's no fat, right? There's nothing in there. And so I used it myself, and it was really cool to play around with it and put it on the edge. It asked me if I want opaque or clear quartz, and it allowed me to like try the different extracts we make in different temperature ranges. And I think that not only is it like pretty cool to digitally have that, because we're really going from a high to a low temperature, we are able to experience the different flavors and the different effects at those different vaporization points, because each one of the terpenes and cannabinoids will have different points. So you can get a really complex, very deep experience and flavor profile from the extract. And like Pat said, he liked the flan at 490. I liked it at 475. That's just my preference. But the quartzes are different. The elements that you have are different, you know, and I think that's what's cool about this. And the gooseneck is clutch. Like,
oh my gosh, it's awesome.
Dude. And the little carb cap, so my shit can sit there. Cause I have the terpmometers and the infrareds and all this different shit. Next thing you know, you're holding all this, you got a torch, you got it's like, you got so much in your hands. You're like, what is going on? I got a dab thing off of here. So it's like,
you ever try to do it in like the car before a concert or something? You're like,
Oh
oh,
man,
dude, it's the worst. Come on.
it's like,
wanted it to
get
like,
out of here.
Yeah.
I mean, like part of like the aesthetic of it is that you know,
Yeah, so many contraptions all at one time.
yeah, I mean, dabbing is a ritual for everyone, and everyone has their own thing and, you know, their own setup. So like, I mean, that's why it's very minimal to begin with. We have some color options, but you know, we wanted it to kind of just like blend into the background. It's there for you, but you know, it's not overly branded. We're not trying to make a statement. We just, you know, we want everyone to use it, and we want it to just, you know, fit in with like their rig and their mat and everything like that. So
I like that too. I love that it has like the couple color options, like the one that's like a little bit kooky and crazy, the red one,
do you
and
have
then
yours?
just like the black one. Yeah, oh yeah, of course. It's right here. I was about
we've
to.
been talking about this thing forever.
We've been talking about it.
Let's
We
show it.
haven't even showed it. Okay, so
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
you have this amazing screen. Yeah, we're idiots. Sorry guys, we're high. I keep my little marble here because I have a terp slurper and it's great for that. So this is great for carb caps. I've seen people put everything from their jar of concentrate to their little teeny tiny rig itself up there.
Yeah.
Dude, I've seen all sorts of crazy things on the internet from it. The coolest thing for me is all the options. So like the flashing lights. So you have this menu.
Yeah, show them what you could go through, because it's pretty cool.
So you can change your temp to the literal degree. And I was smoking some Toroni, and I was hitting it around 515, 510,
Yep.
I think. So I think that's why it was set there. I was going to take a live rosin dab, so I'm going to turn it up to 525 because that's where I like it.
Yeah, it's a
And
good
then
time for live rosin.
Nice.
And then I like Fahrenheit because we're in America, and they taught me that shit.
But they do have Celsius, which is
They
do
do
have
have
Celsius,
the Celsius for our European brothers, or for those people who are smart enough to understand that
everyone
that's just what
except the
you should
United
do.
States.
Every,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
literally every country but us.
It
It's
converts
Our
alright.
boys,
to long,
I'm.
actually.
It wouldn't surprise me if homie out at what's it called? What's the spot? Shout out to the Terps Army dude in Barcelona. I'm sure he's got
Yep.
one running in Celsius right now.
Oh,
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
And then the
100%.
light that you were talking about for your homie who's deaf, that's incredible. Like something that I would never have thought of being, you know, necessary for someone, but like, you know, just like that's me being able to hear, not thinking about it. The sound alert you can turn on and off. All these things are changeable. You
The
can
different
change your
type of
banger,
banger.
the opaque quartz for if you have the opaque bottom. And then it just goes to your menu. And like I said before, that battery, I swear I charged it when I got it and I have not charged it since. And I have to have taken, I have to have smoked like, you know, at least a
Okay.
half ounce of oil since then. You know, I've smoked a bunch of oil
I
since I
thought
got
it was a regenerative battery. Mine's never gone out.
It just never gone out. It's like
It's like
it's
every
like one
time
of those
I thought-
watches.
I actually was gonna ask. I was like, if every time I take a dab, is this thing somehow charging? Because check out that little light, dude. That little baller little LED
Oh,
light.
that thing is cool,
For
too.
mine that's opaque, it lets me know because you want to put it on the edge, and it lets you know, and like you could hit that light right on the edge. I think it's a pretty cool look, and it's blue. I mean, for Blue River, I was like, oh, this thing's pretty dope. It was like,
For me, I like to line it up with like the neck of the Terp Slurper because it has the small tray at the bottom, and I get the light, and then it's like the sensor's like dead in the center. It's like, and it's cool, man. Like I had a friend come over, a great hash maker from Ogre Farms. Shout out to Pepe, he's the homie. He was over here and he had a rig, and he just, you know, like it just swooped around. It fits on all of them. They're great. They're great. It's so convenient. It's so simple. It's not like covered in stickers and huge names. It's like everything I want in dab accessories. I feel like so much stuff is stonery.
hype
Is that
sell
it's like
kind of thing,
stonery?
you know?
Is like stonery a bad thing anymore? But like
Bricks.
I'm 30 now, you know? So for me, like I don't want my rolling tray to have like Rick and Morty like rolling backwards on it and stuff. I just want a black rolling tray, you know? And like that's what I
Yeah.
love about the Dab Right. It's just this simple black thing. It sits on my table. Everyone who asks about it is like, that's really cool. Like even people who don't dab, they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, it's perfect every time. You don't understand. Like, and like I relate it to like coffee. I was like, you ever meet someone who's like super into coffee and you go into their house and they've got this crazy fucking thing on their counter and they're like
Yeah, it's me.
frothing milk.
I still
Tony
weigh.
does this.
Yeah, I weigh my water that I use on a scale.
Yeah, Robert was a barista.
he's a
forever.
barista. Yeah.
Yeah. So the people who are like super into coffee, it's like you go into their house and they do all these things and then they hand you a cup of coffee and you drink it and you're like, oh my God, this is incredible. And I was like, my
Yep.
dab is like that every time. And like
Yes.
I give someone a dab who isn't a dabber all the time and they're like, dude, if dabs were like this all the time, I would take them. You know, and I was like, and it's because so many people are just miseducated. There's so many people who still take a red hot dab
Yeah.
because they just
100%.
don't know.
There used to be
They
like
just
such a
don't
crazy
know.
culture with people wanting to like ruin your experience or ruin your day by giving you a monster.
Dude, remember that?
Right.
Yeah.
Why was that a
And it was like
thing?
actually like, yeah, you wanted to actually like wreck somebody. And it's like, that's not the most polite etiquette for them to create sustainability with this. Like, but we didn't know how it was going to stick around at all. But yeah, it used to be like a thing to like want to ruin people's days with like. a
Oh, I
big dab.
remember. I remember being,
Hot dabs
remember-
used to fucking destroy my days.
Dude, yeah.
and I even
Oh,
remember
red.
being.
It's
Hot
red.
sweats.
Yo. Yeah. Yeah, the sweats.
Man,
dabs
having
equal hot
asthma
sweats.
And thinking about taking hot dabs again is just like I would just never, you know. I'll
Take a
die.
knee.
My lungs can't handle it.
That's,
bro.
that's also like a thing. Like people said, like, oh yeah, you got all of it if you're on all fours, like coughing up like some crazy phlegm. You know, like yeah, you did
Dude,
the
there's
dab,
a
right?
reason. There's a reason my lungs are not as good as they once were, and it's because
Yeah.
I started dabbing in Illinois in 2009, guys. Like that's
Yeah.
what.
Get
that's
the get
why
the
my
nail get
lungs
the
aren't
nail
good.
red hot, right? Yeah.
Oh, dude, red hot
100%.
skillets. We were smoking. I had
Oh,
I
skillet
had a
gang.
I had an HMK cut skillet on a roar tube in 2009 in Illinois, and I was like, you know, red hot, just frying it. And it's like, to think back, I remember being like, oh, it tastes so good. And like now, like thinking about that, like there's no way it tasted as good
No
as I
way.
thought it did. There's no way.
Yeah.
You're like,
Well-
that's real hash. That's real cannabis right there.
I mean, the first events, I was the guy always giving dabs out because I was the guy that had the wrist tech, right? It was just like, and I was like, hold on. And I just like hold my wrist there. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
That's
Like-
that's a barista trick right too. Because that's
Yeah, I
when
was
was
like-
steaming
Skin?
milk. Like you would
Just
steam
like-
until like there's like a certain temperature where you can.
Lost Robert.
we lost Robert. He got muted. Asked
I
to
think
unmute.
another interesting thing that we didn't
Sure.
really think about when we came out with the product is that the gooseneck allows you to take the temperature of the inside of your nail and
Yes.
also take the temperature of the inside of if you have an insert. So
Yes.
you know, it's also like just it's small things that have just like kind of like came into play that we didn't even think were gonna be possible, or even why would we do this. But some people were really intrigued about taking the temperature of the inside of the nail, knowing like what temperature dab's actually hitting at opposed to underneath the nail, you know?
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Like one of the
It's
things
interesting.
too, like you're talking about like the adapt, like the different like ruby sapphire inserts and stuff. A lot of people have been using the opaque setting because it's a lot thicker and it's calibrated, you know, for like that thicker glass. So a lot of people will use the opaque setting on their inserts, and just like what Cody was saying, they'll flip side. People have been flipping their, you know, measuring their slurpers from the side now too. So, you know, people are getting really creative and, you know, using it in ways that we never really intended almost. And it's really cool. And we're, you know, gathering feedback and, you know, having discussions like this with people who are using it and getting feedback and ideas from them is, you know, how we, you know, grow and develop as a company. And this product was like built by this culture, for this culture and this community. So, you know, we want to like grow with it and, you know, make
Dad
changes.
kids are loyal too. Like I think that's a thing that a lot of people forget about the community is that dad kids are real loyal. Like kids collect pipes from one artist. Kids buy the same concentrates over and over because they like the hash maker or whatever. Like there's so many things about this community that's loyal. And I think that you guys like really just hit the nail on the head with so much stuff about the Dab Right that you guys have a loyal customer base. So like whatever's in the future for y'all's company, like, I mean, I'm sold. If you were like, hey, the new one comes out next week, I'd be like, pre-order right now. Like I'd be ready. I wouldn't ask any questions. I just assume it was better, you know?
Pat, you were like, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Excuse me.
I was gonna say,
I have to
yeah.
dab.
Oh, wait.
Yes.
So hold on a second. I was gonna say something about that. You have talked about like what this thing does, but you got to remember, some people out there right now, I'm just telling you, is they have no idea what's going on, right? So I think somebody should show what
You're
we're
right.
talking about.
Yeah.
Like
right.
show what we're
I'm
talking about this
ignorant.
countdown. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's because people are. Let me spotlight
Dan
Dab.
has
Right,
it.
hold on. Let me spotlight him. I'm gonna spotlight for everyone. There we go.
Whoa.
So what we're talking about here is that this goose down neck that he's seen, you could see that like you could set the temperature. You got this dab, you got this carb cap. He's got, which I love this slurper. I really want to get one of these. Look how badass that LED looks just beaming through that slurper. Super dope. I don't know. I like lights when I'm stoned.
It's
So-
very future. It's very future.
Lights make everything better, right?
Yeah. So what's happening, what we're talking about is this little temperature gauge lights up the quartz and it tells you what the temperature is. So you could see it down temping right now. He's already torched it. So for those that don't even, and then he's got, most people actually, I've seen people put their extract in the top. That's actually not how this device works. You actually heat it up, put your cap on top. It has this like hot dog slurper in it. There it goes flashing. Now he's going to put the extracts into the dish. So this is actually how you hit the slurper. I really want to get one of those. They're always sold out. And it spins the
I'm on
oil
the
up.
hunt. Anyone who's watching who has a slurper for Tony Vizura, reach out to me at Black Working Borough on IG. We'll get you taken care of.
Yep.
Yeah, the blue river.
Look at that. So what's happening? That oil goes in the dish and up the slurper, and it spreads the oil really, really well. And I can just tell you, I've tried the little Terp Pearls versus this side by side. I am a fan of the slurper. The thing delivers
It
the
took
hit.
it took some dialing for me personally. I thought the slurper took a little bit of dialing, But
Yeah.
again, that having a device like the DabRite or any temperature device even, it really helps with that. At the time when I got it, I did not have a DabRite, and I was using other temperature devices plus timing apps and all sorts of other things to try to achieve
So I was gonna
what
say
I
something.
wanted out of it.
I was just gonna say how do you clean that? So how do you clean that? What did you do?
So we dunk it in. This is actually code. This is
Oh,
the
you're-
code tech.
The
Yeah,
Cody
ISO
tech?
tech.
Let me see. Everyone has a different tech. So I
Yeah,
wanna see what
exactly. I
yours
wanted to
is.
see what he did.
This Cody, this is his tech. It's a jaw. It's like a big container that
Fire
has a
dish.
metal grate in it that holds.
Okay.
Oh wow.
You can hold
Okay.
So then when you pull it up, it drains at the same time, you know? You can kind of like prop
That's
it up
Okay.
on the
smart.
glass and let it drain too.
This one has like it's got like a nice seal on it, so it closes. You can travel with it.
I will say I changed my tech up because I was doing something similar, and I witnessed a friend on the internet in a process of a torch falling over, almost
Yep.
burn his house down and burn his hands real bad. And when he did that, I switched my tech up. And now what I do to clean mine personally is this is from JP Toro. He posted something similar on his IG.
Oh, hold on a second. Let me spotlight you. Let's see this.
I stick a Q-tip like this.
This
And
is
then
so
I just
funny.
I have like a little ISO spray bottle and I spray through
Mm.
and it kind of overflows. I shake ISO out and then I normally have a paper towel. I don't because I'm in my patio. But I take a paper towel, I pull the Q-tip out, I use the other end to wipe up here, and then I dry my pearls and throw them back in.
Wow.
It works pretty good, and I feel like it kind of saves Q-tips a lot and like a lot of other stuff because I was cleaning it a lot of crazy ways. Here comes T coming outside to get a dab with the paper towel delivery.
Bro, you still also have like 10 things just to smoke weed right now in front of you, right?
Oh, I have a bong, I have a beer, I have a dab rig, I have ISO, I have a torch.
No, I mean
have-
like as in to like pull off one dab, it's requiring at least 10 items.
I feel like it's a slurper. For me, it's a rig, a slurper, an adapter, two pearls, two pearls and a marble, a DabRite, a dabber, dabs, a torch. It's a lot of shit.
It is.
And I think that's like why this is a thing that is amazing for at home or if you go camping and you bring a rig with you or something. And I think that like dabbing on the go is like a whole other thing. This is like
Wait,
I'm on
we
the
have
couch.
like analytics on like wind speed, so like that way if you know the wind direction, you can account for how fast your quartz is gonna like cool down to just by like using that like product,
I'm waiting for 2.0 with robot arm that's like and like
Remote control.
gets like right not even remote control, just
App
like
control.
senses. It's like banger sense
Oh my
detected.
god.
And then it just
Dude,
blasts
we're
it with
working on the
Dab
DabRite
right too.
Pro.
The DabRite
I'm sure
Pro
you
is-
guys are. I'm sure you guys are. Whatever, and like whatever. Like I said, if you guys told me tomorrow it was coming out, I'd probably put it in the pre-order.
Yeah, there were so many.
I lo-
there were
I
so
love
many
the
things we
product.
wanted to hit. So many things we wanted to like include in it, but at some point we wanted to like simplify it and like try to get something
it-
to market and make
put
it
it to
happen.
market.
And then on the Pro, we're gonna kind of add all the bells and whistles and all the cool things that we
Ooh, the
wanted to do
pro.
before.
It's the
Yeah.
pro. Ooh,
Yeah.
secret. I think that's new knowledge. I don't know if I've heard that anywhere before.
So funny.
It'll be dope.
That's super
We're
cool.
excited.
No,
So one thing-
that sounds super exciting.
There'll be some like firmware updates and things, as we go along. There'll probably be like little new tweaks and features to these units. Not like right now, but probably like the beginning of the year, after we get a few more drops under our belt and get some more feedback from people. But yeah, no,
Yeah, we want to make the product better based on the feedback, and we already have like a couple things that we want to do. Like we want to add like a volume control, so you can adjust how high the volume is. If you're at like a sesh and it's really loud, you could turn up the volume. Like just small things like as we go.
I love that. That's like so yeah, and I like that you guys are trying to keep it innovative and like think about things for the culture because like you know, the sesh is where cannabis culture thrives and stays alive, and where hype is built, and where new glass artists get appreciated. By the way,
Yeah.
Dan, I saw the rig you were rocking. It looked cool. Is that who made that? Is that
Uh,
Boro Brothers?
CHT.
It's a CHT. Okay, cool. I like it a lot. It's very
Yeah.
tight, very clean.
Appreciate it. Yeah. It's like my, got it at Chalice back in 2017.
Hell yeah, Chalice.
That was a
Gosh,
great
remember the
year.
days.
That
The
was a great
days. Back in the
The
days.
good old days.
Yeah.
The good old days where
Wow.
and that we were talking earlier about hot dabs. I was gonna say I remember giving someone a dab at Chalice. This girl goes, "Give me a big dab," and I gave her this big dab, and like she took the whole dab, and she was like, "That was way too big," and like you forget.
Oh, no.
I'm like, and she's like, "Oh no!" Like she's like on the wobbles, you know. And you forget as someone who smokes a lot or works in the
Yeah, you don't
industry
want to say
that like
that. Yeah.
No, I
a
remember-
big dab
I
is
remember, like-
not the same for me as it is for, you know, your buddy or your homie who takes a dab once a month.
I don't know if I was working with Pete or was working with Joe maybe at the time. I think it was like High Times 2016. But like I remember like literally like a 65 to 70-year-old like old school Santa Rosa couple just like coming over and like being like, "Hey, so I hear you got free dabs," and like wanting to like take a dab, and like they were very, they wanted to be like very they wanted, you know, information, they wanted to know, and like they were willing to try, they had the bravery. But like I remember like at that moment it was a very deciding factor to like specifically not ruin these people's day, to like give them a better experience than not, and to like truly honestly like time it. I think we were using like mini nails back in the day, so it was like, you know, I had no account for flavor, like they weren't getting it flavor wise, but they weren't going to get an overly hot dab to be able to like make them like lock knee and drop down behind me.
Yeah, I mean that, like I've probably dabbed out, I mean, thousands of people. There was days where I think I tried to count one time, it was 300 or 400 people in a day. And I can tell you that
Yeah.
when you see people come up, you have the power in your hand. Like you said, do I
Yeah.
want to ruin this person's day? Wreck it. Now, some people come up though, like, and they're very innocent. And they're the same thing. And I always do really small dabs because you don't want to ruin their first experience. Give them a nice, flavorful. Like, oh, I didn't even cough. You're like, oh, give it some time. If you want another one, I'll give you another one. You know, it'd always be nice. But there'd be always that person like, hey, give me a big dab. And I was like, oh, okay. And they're like, I want to, you know, give me the strongest thing, da da da. And then the person's always like, I like hot dabs. And like, well, this isn't a hot dab line. And then they're like, no, I like it hot. And I'm like, you want to take it to the dome, like get knocked the fuck out, take a knee type of dab. And you would have those people and they would ask me, I'm like, so you want me to give you my strongest stuff? And they're like, yeah. And I would watch it literally go and I'd be giving them a big ass glob, knowing that this thing was going to be like, like you
People
could
are
see
still
it.
like that. People are
You
still
could
like that.
see it. And it was just,
My homie, my best man at my wedding is like that.
yeah, they love it.
I'll watch him take a dab that is too hot and cough till he's red in the face. And I know he has that feeling where like your balls are in your stomach. You know that
Oh
feeling?
yeah,
Like,
they tighten up real tight up there.
he just looks like he feels that way. And he does it to himself and he loves it. And another thing here, this is another thing that's great about
And then
this
you
mushroom.
cough so bad you almost feel like you got a hernia, right?
Gee, I set this to like 10 degrees.
I've seen people
You
like
want this
cough
dab?
so hard that they've like kind of had like the acid reflux, like kind of throw up and like just for
Oh,
like a
yeah.
split second, like just like whatever they ate like 4 hours ago came back, you know.
No, all bad.
Yeah,
it's
I'm
crazy.
so glad dabbing has gotten so much better.
Yeah, the tech has just come a long way.
It's given like a
you know,
really
the
true ode
courts.
to like like all the hard work. Now you can really isolate the parts of like cultivation to hash making to even storage. You know, you can really like complement all three of those levels with like a really nice, well-timed, great dab.
Yep.
I used to, like in 2012, I started running a vaporizer brand out of Florida called Vaporfection, and we were like this glass on glass medical grade vaporizer, like they're like Apple-like, and it was like right at the time where like oil was getting big, and you know flower vapes were kind of like not really, you know, as popular, and we're like, well, how do we like hack this thing to like, use oil? And I figured out that you can use like a little bit of like a cheesecloth with some dabs in there, and we used to go to like cannabis cups and just like buy like an ounce of oil and just like people walking by would be like, hey, you want to try this vaporizer? Just give them just like clouds, and it's crazy. Yeah, just like what, you know, how the tech had just like exponentially gotten better, and the oil has gotten better, and like, I mean, you can hardly, I mean, especially for me growing up in Florida, like finding like full melt or something back in 2012 is like almost impossible. Like the first time I ever really like bought and smoked hash rosin like commercially, or like was like 2016 when I used to like buy it from TLC in like downtown LA. It was like moonshine melts or something, like Skittles or something, like holy shit.
Even for me, I remember
Prop 15.
like smoking in Illinois. I grew up in Illinois, and we were dabbing, and like there was no dabs for a while. Like I told you guys, I had an HMK skillet in like 2009, 2010.
Did you even
or whatever.
hot knife? Was there hot knifing in Chicago?
Oh, I hot knifed. I was hot knifing hash. All my friends were like, "What are you doing, dude?" And I was like, "This is how." I was like, telling them, "This is how they do it in Canada. This is how they do it in Canada, bro." Like I was telling them, and they're like, "What are you talking about, Canada?" And I'm like, "Just trust me, it's tight." And but like that was the thing. Like there were no dabs. You had to make dabs.
Yeah.
When I first started, you had to make dabs whatever way you could. There was no full melt. And when I moved to Santa Rosa, when I moved to California for the first time, and California was mean to me and chewed me up and spit me out because I didn't know what to expect. I remember getting there, and it was like the Mecca. I was like living down the street from hash makers, and there was like full melt all the time. And I was just like, this is insane. Like, this is the craziest thing I've ever experienced in my life. I can't believe that this place exists. Like, it's just like a reality. And it changed my perspective on what hash is and like what it can be. And like, I think that's why I don't take tons of dabs now. I take dabs that are worth taking.
Yeah.
And like, and the dab right makes them perfect every time. It's like, it's I don't know, man. It's great. It's a great device. I super love it. It's super
I want to see
convenient.
Pat on a dab right commercial. Like,
Yeah,
right
he's
now.
listen. This guy is your biggest fan. I was like, you know what, Pat, you're gonna take lead on this one. I was like, I like the device because
I forgot. Like, here's
cool.
my whole thing about dabbing is everyone's like, oh, you smoke bong hits all the time. How like everyone's like, you make all the extracts for Blue River and you smoke bong hits all the time. And I'm like, yeah, dude, you know how easy it is to take a bong hit? It takes like 4 seconds. It's so easy and convenient. And I mean, I still take tons of bong hits. Like, don't get me wrong.
You
I
seem
love
to
it. It's my
honestly,
favorite.
you're like a guy that like somehow we could be anywhere. I don't care where it is, and somehow Pat's got a bong stashed somewhere in this vicinity. It's
Either
so
that-
like, and
either
there's
that
there's
or-
different
for
sizes,
sure.
big ones, small ones. Like, where do you get this bong from? I'm like, we're at the bank. He's like, yeah, I hide it behind the counter. You know, it's like
It's
it
either
doesn't
that
matter.
or Pat's able to like fix and repair and nearly any rolling like any like a backwood or anything. Like he's able, like if it rips in a detrimental way,
Oh, yeah.
Pat's able to like doctor
I'm
that thing.
I got that surgical backwood skill.
He's like,
dog.
give it to me. Give it to me.
Surgical.
No, seriously, I've
Dr.
seen this guy
Backwood.
like unwrap like the inner layer of a backwood just to repair another patch of
While
it
it was
just to,
burning.
like,
Do you
re-wrap.
remember when it ripped and I wrapped it while it was burning and
Yeah.
ripped a piece off, fixed the rip and re-rolled it and kept it
He's
going
also the first
whole
guy I've
time.
ever seen to like wash his blunt wrap. Like I remember in the lab, like this guy would like take it, steam it for a second, put it on a paper towel. Like he'd be like this.
It's a ritual, and we talked about that earlier. Smoking is a ritual, however you do it. For me, I like to smoke flower because when I was a kid, I started dabbing because I like moved back into my parents' crib and I needed a place to be, and I had no means to smoke weed in the house because every time I did, my old man would break my bong. It was like a nightmare. So I started dabbing because I could get away with dabbing. It was almost odorless if I blew it out the window, or if there was a smell, it was gone so fast that it wasn't that big of a deal. And now that I have my own house, I'm just like, I'm gonna smoke weed, dude. That's what I like to do. And for me, like it's a convenience thing. Dabbing is totally worth it when it's really, really, really enjoyable and like worth it for me. And that's why I smoke out of a nice rig. That's why I smoke live rosin. That's why I smoke Flan and Tyrone and but like, you know, again, it's making that experience better that makes it worth it for me as a smoker. And the company that you guys are, started just puts out a device that, again, makes it that much easier for me to do that. And it makes it convenient. The reason I love taking a bong hit is because it's so convenient and so fast. And like, if I have to run out the door because I'm late for work, I can take a bong hit, but I can also take a dab now because I can heat up the nail and run back to the other part of the house and do whatever I got to do. And by the time I'm in the living room, throwing all the things I need into my backpack to run out the door, that shit's beeping and I can take my
Yeah.
dab and I can run out the door.
So what you're
Dude, it was
saying
really-
is,
Go ahead.
no, I
Tony.
was just gonna say, what
So
you're
what I'm
saying
saying is I'm late to work sometimes. Is that what
Yeah,
you're
he's late to work all
no,
the time.
so what you're saying is it's actually made you more efficient to getting to work, so you don't have to stop to take a bong hit. So you're actually maximizing more time in a day.
Leave it to Tony
it
to
does,
be
it
the
does
only
help.
boss in the world to single out your smoking habits that help you work better. Jesus
I
Christ.
mean, I do. I smoke a lot of weed and I feel like I'm not,
Honestly, for
I'm
me,
pretty
like,
okay at my job, I guess.
the transition for hash for me came from, because like I'm a parent, my daughter's 8, and like back in the day, it used to, like, to get to the effect that I truly wanted, like 2 blunts to the face and like go to the park for 4 hours just like wasn't conducive to like wait around, smoke around, like ash this here,
You
like
have
that.
a child.
Dude,
and,
taking
like,
a dab and going to the park for the 4 hours, it took me like 2 minutes just to like be as high as I wanted to be for 4 hours. Like that was like a really cool, and it was odorless. Like my kid wasn't gonna smell smoke on my jacket if I like held her, it was like truly much more like accommodating in my opinion.
Yeah, it's definitely a more consistent experience every time, especially like, with like the old like timer tech, or like your banger degrades over time, and it's just like you don't really. It's always hard to account for like, oh well, do I drop it by 15 seconds now? Like it used to be a minute 30, and now it's a minute, and then like 45 seconds, and it's like at least now it's like it's obviously it might take less time to get to that temperature, but you're still gonna get there every time. So just,
Well, and that's the thing. I think it makes it even. It's nice for the guy with the old nail. It's nice for the guy who smokes the concentrate that isn't on the top shelf that is the best, because he can get the best flavor out of it. It's good for every kind of concentrate consumer who's smoking with a rig and a banger, a quartz banger, because it appeals to the benefit for all of them. Like for me, I tell people like, smoke solventless concentrates, but like for a lot of people, that's not in their budget. It's not in their, it's not whatever. So they smoke what they can afford, or they smoke what's available to them. Because there's a lot of people who can't find those concentrates. Like you and I have talked about, Dan, being wherever you are in this country, you might not be able to have access to quality solventless or even quality solvent based concentrates. So
and that's the thing. It's like the price, if you don't mind us just chiming in on that, we understand it's like an expensive product, it's around the price of like a banger, but like it's like yourself, like the way we see it, it's like your cell phone, something you use every day. It's like we spend a lot of time certified, and it's CE and FCC certified, and it's tested, and it's like we spend a lot
and like
so
for a lot of people, they do smoke concentrates all the time. People are like, I have a high tolerance, I need to smoke concentrates. I have a I have kids. Robert said he has kids. He makes concentrates make his life much easier. For some people who are still very medical, on the medical side of things, concentrates help their chronic pain or whatever it might be. For those people, it's a solid investment. It's worth it to spend the money. Like if you spent that much money on your banger and on your bong and on your temperature device, you're going to have a really, really, really good experience every single time. And that sounds like a lot of money for a lot of people, but you don't have to do it all at once. Do it over time. Experience it. Buy the cheap rig for now, or smoke out of what you have available to you, and upgrade. Everything is about growth in life. And even this, it's something simple. You can grow, if you want to experience concentrates this way, you can achieve it. It's available to you. And
Well, I was going to say one thing to add to that that's important, because I bought the thing. I didn't get it handed to me, and I went online. At first, I was like,
neither of us. I also want to make
Yeah.
that clear. I paid them good money for this, and I'm still singing praises
Yeah,
So
I think
I
don't
didn't
think it was
get
like
a free
250.
one or nothing.
Yeah, it was like 250 or two something. But I remember, I'll be honest with you, I bought it and I was like, oh, it is a little expensive. I thought that way at first. I really did. But for me, trying
Agreed,
to
actually.
maximize everything I can, time ends up being money, and seconds count in a day. And so what it
100%.
gives me is my phone back, because I had a timer on my phone. So first, if you try to use your wrist and you try to time it down, you lost your left hand, right? So you're talking about 2 minutes of my life that I lose my left hand whenever I do that. I know this sounds silly, but when I had the timer, I was like, I usually use an app, like, and I would time my thing down. So now my phone's in use, right? So therefore I can't take a picture really, because then I'm like on this whole timer thing. And so it's like you
That
start
was
to juggle.
frustrating. You
It's
can't
very
take the
frustrating.
dab video when you have the timer app going.
Well, and you don't have your life back. So
I'm trying to be a heady boy.
yeah. So what I'm saying is, like, I don't have that anymore. So now I was like, oh, this is so nice. My hands are free. My phone is free. And I was like, oh, cool. So it's like, all it really is now I have this back, so now you have, if someone's calling you or whatever's happening, you have minutes to do that. You know what I mean? Back in your life. And so it's just like, it's just convenient to not to have to be attached to anything in thought or a phone. So my phone goes to the right now, and now I'm like kind of free with my hands, and all I have is the jar and the concentrate and the dab tools. So my mind focuses on the extract itself. So I have more pleasurable experience enjoying the extracts. I'm not caught up in gadgets and all this stuff. I don't feel like it's a gadget. I feel like it's a necessity, like a food timer, anything that you just set it and like you forget about it, and you're like, you get to go into the extracts for that 2 minutes, right? And that's my little moment. So it's like you get away.
I'm busy.
Yeah, well, that's my moment, and for a lot of people, that's their moment. They want to like check out the texture, they're into it. You get a couple minutes to be intimate with the extract instead of like messing around with all this bullshit. You got plenty of time because you got the dab right. It's going to tell you. Like,
this is true. This is
you're
true.
like looking at it.
It's great for like TV too. Your zoning out purposes. So you can literally zone out and do whatever it is you're doing, whether it's watching that same episode of The Office for the 109th time, shout out my wife. But like, that it is what it is. But it's a great product. I love it. It's great for what we do. It's great for every kind of concentrate consumer. Is there anything you guys want to add? Oh, wait, Dan, I have a question for you. How close do you keep your sensor to the bottom of your banger? Because I see videos where they're down far. I see videos where they're super, super close. I feel like when mine's down a little further, it depends. It's just like weird. I wanted to ask straight from the source.
The recommended distance is like 1/2 inch to 1.5 inches. So like, I don't know if you can see.
Yep.
Okay.
That's about how far I keep mine.
So like, usually around like that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and then the other thing too is like some people with slurpers, we've had reports, of excess oil like falling in the sensor here. So we recommend like moving it away from the dab right when you take a dab.
I almost always pick mine up.
Yeah.
Unless I'm like trying to shoot the video or something, or because I'm a nerd. And
yeah, and I think we wanted to like go away from like the really big like sensors, and we kind of went with more of like an industrial sensor, because like we're not taking the temperature of our food, like we're taking temperature of quartz. So like our range is like when it says too hot, that means it's over 800 degrees, and then it says low when it gets to 300 degrees. And like you always see all the Temp-Tex and all these other 3D printed devices, like they're melting. So like that's why we decided to go with silicone, and like let's just like solve that.
I have a pretty melted. I have a pretty melted timer that I loved, but it wasn't the same. It didn't do all the things that I find convenient about yours. It didn't save my temperature.
Right.
It like didn't save my temperature. And that drove me crazy.
You gotta do all kinds of things.
Every time again, another distraction.
It was like one of these weird things where I'm like, okay, I have this stack of jars. Yeah, and you have to get it just right. And like, it just, it's the convenience thing. I can't wait to see what y'all have for the future. I can't wait to see the DabRite Plus.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, I
mean-
love the product. It's great. I've had so much fun with it since I got it, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
what
we're
else.
stoked. I mean, in November we're dropping more colors. So like there'll be a couple colors onto like, you know, the standard DabRite. So when we have retailers, they have 5 colors to choose from, but then we'll also be releasing our own colors that you have to buy through our website. We have
Cool.
accessories coming with it. We have like a really awesome collab that we're super stoked on. We've been working hard, and
Oh,
we
that's
want to like
super cool.
tailor the DabRite towards other companies, like, and you know, and we want to just like take this to. We want to keep taking the technical aspects of dabbing and keep like progressing them and like figuring out like what everyone needs and try to bring it all in one device and just keep innovating. And you know, that was one thing that I like brought to the table, is like, how do we package this thing? And like, you know, as someone who's a collector and we just want to put everything in the pellet, I was like, let's put it in the pellet, you know. And then that was
Right.
like, you know, it costs too much. So then like we went with like the soft case that has like the DabRite on the outside, and we try to, you know, it is its
looks
own
classy.
package.
It looks
And
classy.
like we're not
Like
wasting
it looks
a bunch
clean.
of materials and plastic and all this bullshit. Like it's a sleeve, a paper sleeve that you can recycle, and you use this case like anywhere and everywhere, you know?
Yeah, and it's cool too because it's a device that I feel like it's definitely sturdy and solid, but it's also like a thing that I love that I can put in that little case before I throw it in my backpack. Because
Yeah,
I don't want to
just
just throw
no
it in my
worries.
backpack because I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that. Whereas like everything else just got thrown in my backpack. I didn't care about it because it didn't feel like it needed to be cared about.
I feel like
100%.
Yeah, you could clip it to your pelly, you could throw it in your bag, you can throw some terps in there, and
Yeah, it's got the little pouch. You can carry a couple grams. It's perfect. It's like really very convenient. Everything about it, guys, I really like it. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like we're kind of maybe going in circles talking about how great it is.
Yeah.
So,
Look, it was we're connoisseurs, and we built it as a connoisseur grade device, but it's for everyone. You know, we custom built this programming by ourselves. We hand designed it, how it works, and you know,
Yeah.
we wanted to keep it nice and simple, keep it like an easy flow, and you know,
Yeah,
was
we're
like-
stoked. We're stoked about the future and the,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
think-
the turnout, and everyone's pumped, and you know,
everyone
like, we're
seems
just-
super
we're ready.
pumped. I
Yeah.
haven't seen anyone with any complaints really.
yeah, and
We
Everyone-
have, like, 5
everyone
people
seems
doing
praised.
customer service. So like anytime something happens, like we're on it. We're not leaving people hanging. Like
yeah,
we just want to like run a successful company the way we think it should be done, you know, and we're just trying to like set a good example for other companies too, you know.
Hell yeah. We love that. We love that. We
Yeah.
love the promotion of cannabis culture, and we think you guys are doing a fucking good job of it, like more or less,
Oh, yeah,
you know, like,
appreciate it, dude.
and that's awesome.
yeah. Thank you for having
Um,
us. Really appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thank you for having us out.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys for coming on, and we'd love to see you again in the future. You know, maybe when there's a DabRite Plus coming out or something, or you know, you said you want
Yeah,
to market to
100%,
other
you
brands. We'd
Yep.
like to hear about that. We'd like to hear about a Blue River DabRite if that's a thing. I'm sure Tony
Yeah,
would love to
absolutely.
talk about that.
Hit me
Yeah,
up.
100%.
Yeah.
You know, like again, thanks so much for coming. Is there anything anyone wants to add? And we should all get high before we go if everyone's getting high.
Yeah, I'm ready for another dab.
I'm sitting in my car. I need to leave to get high.
Well, you, my friend, you know what? See, this is the time where the bong hit is so convenient because I can take a quick bong hit.
He's
and
got
you
look.
can
He's
go
look. He
get
pulls.
high.
He pulls a sovereignty like a peyote
Hilarious.
teller. You know, he's like, oh, let me just pull. A
Oh,
peyote
I mean,
river."
if you're gonna smoke bongs, you should do it right. I mean,
Mm.
sovereignty is king in the game. In terms of
Hey, I have one of
flower
those. I'm
tubes.
not. I have one of those.
It's one. I'm looking for a STEM 8. Also, anyone who has a Terp Slurper for Tony Vazura or a STEM 8 for Pat Vincent, you holler at me on IG, Blackwork and Boro.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, shit,
Hey, did you guys,
late for dinner right here, so I'm gonna sign out. But yeah, I mean, I'm
Yeah,
in Cali,
absolutely.
so let's link up and sesh up. We'll chat it up too.
Absolutely, Cody. It was a pleasure talking to you. I can't wait to sesh and link in person. It sounds like a great
Oh
time.
yeah, bro.
Drive safe, please, and thank you.
Yeah, have a good night, guys.
Yeah.
My grinder's stuck. Oh, there we go. All right.
That's the worst, man. When the guy gets like you're
I know. I gotta throw it in some
I
alcohol.
think it's so interesting that like it was just like 2014, 2012. Maybe it was, yeah, 2012 was when I had a lot. I mean, I was smoking a lot of different flowers, but I went to Dabs because of how many flowers I was smoking. It's just like it didn't make a
Yeah,
lot.
I was smoking joints and blunts, and you remember, dude, I was smoking close to an ounce of flower a day when I met you.
Yeah,
Jesus.
it's crazy.
I was outrageous.
Yeah,
And,
no, that's like I would smoke crazy amounts when I
It's
was.
unhealthy. It's unhealthy to be completely honest. And
Yeah.
like for me, the bong hits. It's like, you know, I can smoke an ounce of weed over the course of a week or two, if I want.
You always seem to have like a double blunt. Like you always had, just like mine.
I did. I always had so much.
In your dreads, beard, just like
He's smoking a dread. He just takes a dread off and just lights it.
exactly.
Fucking with you, bro.
Listen, I don't discriminate about anything. All I care about is do you have the skill level to be in the ring at the level that we do? And Pat does have the skill level. So
Pat certified.
Pat is certified.
Certified skilled.
He's the only one that could.
Dan is certified skill level for dab temping.
Yeah.
Everyone has certified. Everyone in this chat room has a certified skill level right now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But yeah, let's do this again, Dan. I want to thank you again for coming on the Dab Right again. I love it. Keep doing what y'all are doing, and I can't wait to see you again in the future.
Actually, at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, dabbright.com. No password.
On your website?
Yep, just on at 9. Available, all 3 colors. So
if you haven't got one yet and you're trying to get one, that's where you can get one.
Yeah.
What does Robert have there?
That looks like some flan or Taroni or something. That looks like some strawberry banana flan, maybe.
So yeah, I just want to say one thing here. We didn't get to talk about it, but all right, Robert, since you are friends with the farm, with Verde, you found us Living Soil, and we did some nice rosin drops. We did some Torreon, but it looks like you got the flan there, and you've had all my flans before.
I have. I think I've been blessed with every release. Let me
Every
try
single
this one.
flan since we started flan 1.0, 2, 3. This where we're at 3. So what do you think of this one? I feel like it's in the top 3.
Wow. That's a different expression of banana or like strawberry banana than we've done.
It's a really interesting pheno, I think, the one the Terps came from for that. Not typical.
So we have the strawberry banana rosin that it came from. So what's cool about this particular one, which we didn't have before, is that last time we did this was with papaya. You could have the rosin and the flan next to each other. So you could see what the live rosin and the flan are like next to each other as far as the flavors of strawberry banana, which makes it interesting because of what I was telling you about. And so, yeah, I mean, I feel like the jars too.
Oh yeah, I mean, just the presentation, just it like popping like right off, just like the ease of it, and like you knowing that it's gonna fall off, and I mean, you can knock it over, it's just gonna roll. I mean, it's just like this is where concentrates in this caliber always need to be presented in this kind of.
So we made the switch. So I do want to say one thing because I did at the end here. Let's see, Pat, what did you have?
It's the same thing. Mine. This is just a fresh jar.
Oh, you got one too.
This is my jar that's untouched. I haven't smoked any of it.
Look at that.
And it's been very hard to not smoke, but I'm saving it, I think, for Christmas time, to be completely honest.
And look how good that still looks in the jar, that little seal on there.
I let this one come to temp. It's been in my fridge. It's been in the little terp spot in my fridge, little terp penthouse where people normally keep butter. Mine's the terp penthouse.
Yeah,
so
same.
So yeah, that's where it stays. And Yeah, dude, the concentrates we put out, the live run, everything that came out is super great. The
Yeah.
dab right has helped me enjoy every single dab I've taken of it. And overall, I couldn't be more happy as a hash maker to put this kind of product to market. It really
Well, we're
feels
gonna get to
good,
do it
you
again.
know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
I
like,
can't,
like Tony said,
I
like
can't wait to
I've
put
tasted every single flan to date, every single release, and like the whole progression of it from like the red Congolese flan per se all the way to now. It's
So
just
funny.
been like truly a journey of and like the stability and the ease. Like all right, so if you're like related to film, there has to be a lot of different smoke and mirrors to make the brain believe something that would naturally be just available in the perception of the eye. That's where I think the flan really is at right now. It's in the caliber of you open it and you have absolutely every single trust from the color to the preservation of it, the storage, everything that it's going to be a truly 10 out of 10 dab every
Yeah.
single time. And I think everyone that's tasted the flan can, if you haven't taken it on a hotter than expected nail or temperature, if you've actually done it right, I don't think there's any negative things that you could say about the flan to anything. For sure.
I think that most people have a really good experience if they smoke it right, and I think that from where it started to where it is now, it's become a thing that it's really come together, and it's almost one of those things where when people consume it, it looks so much like a rosin or whatever. You almost question of like, how is this broken down? It's
Right.
just like this crazy fire thing that's so
Yeah.
flavorful.
Yeah, but it's so considered. There's so much thought engineering into it that like
It's time and Rain Man
Well,
math,
yeah,
dude.
yeah, it's shelf life really. For me, it's
yeah,
consistency. It's like I want the highest preservation of terpenes in the purest form that's going to last the longest without refrigeration and not dry up, straight
Yeah.
up. And
Yeah.
then I want to have some crazy modulation effect because I was into Jimi Hendrix and played guitar, and you're a guitar player. I'm trying to go Hendrix with flan, bro.
Oh,
I'm trying to go as far out as we possibly can. And
100%.
Smells crazy.
and give somebody something that like that's why I trademarked that because it's the signature move, So if anything else, helping push solventless would be a great achievement and popularizing terps, but like all of that and what we're doing from the cold cure and the live rosin, you got to start like it's not something that we can do. You have to start with just superior resin and superior live rosin and a great grow. And we're saving that for living soil, organic, small
Yeah.
batch. Like it's
From here
gonna
on
be
out,
just
all the flans are all going to be at this level of the recent releases. If you guys are
Yeah.
lucky enough to go out and get your hands on some of the more recent releases of flan and Taronis, just know that Tony and I have kind of like decided that nothing is going to come out if it's not of that quality for those kind of concentrates anymore. So they will always be at that kind of level.
That's it.
Shout out to you guys too for that wedding cake. Holy shit.
That's what I've been smoking. That's what my
That
personal
wedding
snack star
cake,
is.
oh my gosh. I'm gonna have to
Cookie
go out
dough.
and like,
So
find
good.
some because it's just that was truly remarkable. Honestly,
It's
like
incredible. I love
yeah.
it. It's so good.
Well,
It's so
and I
gassy
think
and
that
flavorful.
like it again goes back to the growers. And like we're artisanal scientists, it's like a mix of art and science. And it is, and everyone, like for me personally, I don't care about anything but maturity and flavor. And that's when you're harvesting glands and it's fresh frozen, like you want it, like for me, that's in perfect maturity. It's not pulled early. It's not like I'm not color chasing. We're trying to get this greasy consistency that is not, it's not a live rosin where your shit's going to evaporate. That's why you cold cure. It's a homogenation and it has a shelf life again. And these are things like, we improve our game so that when somebody develops a device for timing and you go to take a dab, there's consistency in the dab and in the texture. So like all this is really important in techie. And, I just personally, I like fresh pressed, but like, I want it fresh. I don't want to have to I don't want it 10 days later. Like that's not fresh pressed for me. And it's impossible to get unless you're making extracts, and you're right there, you know.
Yeah. The availability of
Dan-
material.
Dan took off.
I like the preservation quality of cold cure.
Yeah, and so for those that are in Florida, if you guys are still up and you followed through this thing, we love you.
That's probably why
And
Dan dipped, because he's in Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Well,
yeah.
it's funny because he dipped right when I was going to make some little things that are happening. So announcements, like I was saying, we've been working on, you know, pushing to the next level, and good things do take some time, especially in Florida with big operations. And so we have the green go ahead light that we will be implementing Cold Care Live rosin into Trulieve in Florida. Yep, this year. And so it is on the books. And so we're going to be moving our carts into that direction. So we also would like all the carts to be refined live rosin sauces, because we feel it represents the quality and the brand and the tech that we have at the highest level. And they are concurring with our call. So I'm happy to see that. We're also implementing, they accepted implement the Calyx jars.
Nice.
So yeah, I think there was they have to go through like approval process with it, but I think I heard correctly from the meetings and stuff, which is cool, because the Calyx, did you notice how the jars are just like, they have the moisture barrier and the terp barrier. I mean, you could dab off of that, you know that, right? You saw the inside? Yeah, look at the inside. And so see how no light can get to the extracts too, because that glass is below the extract. But look at the inside of the lid and the foil. No. Yeah, check that out. Look in there. You could dab off of that.
Wow.
So like the other stuff with, yeah, exactly. That's totally super cool, right?
Wow. That's going to change the game over there. Florida is going to continuously, and I always say this in a lot of the trainings and interactions I've had with budtenders that are really doing their research, really doing their homework, and like really aligning with Blue River, with all of the releases over there, how monumental it is that they're changing the game every time they convince someone over to Blue River, and someone gets a really positive experience and gets to try it, especially with all the care and consideration with concern with the temperature out in Florida all the time. I've had to fight really hard to keep rosin for more than a week in Florida, and it's no easy task. But if you do, and at that price point as well, I mean, it truly is like game setting. I mean, it's game changing for sure.
Yeah, the jars.
Available.
The jars are key, because like you have to, like, the moisture and the heat and humidity is for real there. It just changes everything. And so like I feel like the jars are clutch, and then you know they've got a lot of new varieties and really cool stuff that are going to wash good. I'm excited about that, because the things that sifted well will wash well. So I think as the strain selection, sifting all these strains gets you a strain selection. You're like, okay, these 4 did really well in dry sift rosin, you know, the static rosin type of stuff that they're doing. And so if it does well there, and it looks really well there, and it has a great consistency there, then it's going to do really, really well in the live version, you know. And so I can't wait to do that. You know, it's just been something that like we wanted to move forward with. So we got a lot of new cool things that we worked on as well in there. We've been doing some innovation there that also is going to continue to just keep the game moving forward. And so we got a lot of new collabs coming up too that I think is going to be very, very cool for some of these higher end boutique, like farm to table curated resin expressions coming up. So I think you'll be excited, Robert.
Heck yeah, I'm stoked. Yeah, the papaya cake out there actually was pretty good. That's the one that I fought very hard to keep in either an AC car or into the penthouse of the refrigerator, as Pat calls it. But like, whenever I took a dab of it, I was like, I'm so fortunate to be smoking this in Florida, like some good flavor at least. You know, it was cakey. It had a little bit of like that papaya pop, but so it was nice. It was done well for sure.
It's exciting to see the progression in Florida, though, to know that there are better strains coming, there are better hatchers coming, the progress is coming,
Yeah.
the changes are happening, and that overall we're gonna, we're gonna be able to like keep improving what we're doing there. We're gonna be able to keep pushing better solventless concentrates for the consumers in Florida because that's what we want to do, and we know that the people there are loyal. They do buy Blue River concentrates, and we want to just try to keep making it better for them. And I know that in the future, that's like definitely what the plans are, and I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, they're very early on in their industry to the point where there's a really quick curve that California missed the boat on. But that's why I said, like, going back to like each of those bud tenders or people that help talk about Blue River at the counter with their patients, like, and really like bending that curve early, it creates like such a crazy sustainable future for them to have concentrates solventless earlier in their industry, as opposed to like how we didn't have that. We all had like a crazy BHO like phase in California and Colorado. And so they have a really cool opportunity to like kind of start greener earlier, so owed to them for sure. And I'm glad that we can help really create that future for them as well.
Yeah, I mean, I know it was like early. Remember when it was like, wow, 2 years ago when we started that project. And I'm from Florida, and at that time there was only solvent-based extracts, and so we start with where we could start with. We had to prove ourselves, and the people that did that and continue to, and the people that are out there and the patients that are out there supporting us, that then gives the confidence that we can hang in there in that type of an environment and provide a service that is needed, and that allows us to expand. And so the more you support us in this time and the brand, then the more we can, and the faster things can improve. And it's taken, a lot of time to get there, but I'm happy to see it moving and confident. And I feel that I think we got some acceptance. The people seem to have some love for us, and we got love for them. And now it's time to turn it up.
Agreed. And good things take time. And I see all the time in Florida when we post things that are for the California market here, they say, bring this to Florida, or, where's the love for Florida? And we want you to know that, we are trying to bring the best quality we can to you. And we are going to keep pushing to bring higher quality, and it's coming. It's coming for y'all.
For sure. And I think the cold here is going to be an excellent addition for sure. 100%.
Is that how Pat flexes? I think that was Pat flexing.
That was a Pat.
That was kind of Pat flexing a little bit.
It is.
And
He's like, flexing for Florida.
He's like, it's coming.
It is.
Like, you saw his serious face. He's like,
he just addressed a whole state.
I did. That's me telling Florida that we're gonna bring something that we feel is better than what we have now, and that we're excited to bring it to you.
We the same standard that we keep. Like for us, in the cold care, which just so Rance understands, is we're seeking a certain range. We're not just throwing all the bags together. For those that are into hash and figuring out what the microns are, there's a range of these trichome heads that we're collecting, that we're making hash rosin from, and Full Spectrum incorporates all of them, which has its place and it's good. It could tend to be a little lower in overall potency and have less or different flavor than we might want to seek. So we go in and select the 70 to the 149, and that's our sweet spot where we want to focus. And occasionally, if there was ever a 40 or more, it would go there, but it's something.
I think even the other way too. Like, for some reason, if the 40 is exceptionally good, it might end up going into a batch of rosin. If for some reason the 70 is like unnaturally green, I'm going to try running the 90 bag. And if that's where it's cleaner, we're going to run the 90 to the 149,
Yeah.
Like I don't want to put a product that I feel like isn't quality out for any of the markets, California or Florida.
Yeah. That's it. And so, I'm excited because it's Croptober. There's a lot of new farms coming down. There's a lot of collaborations coming up. There's going to be
hash coming.
there's hash coming.
There's hash coming, and that's what
At
that
least in
means.
this time. I feel like in the time that we're living, like I feel blessed that we can actually still access this and we're deemed essential, so that I don't know
Oh, yeah.
where we would be mentally to finally figure out like all this stuff about hash and extracts to really take like
It's
the
also-
Rubik's Cube and not be able to get there, but now we can. And like to be able to have access to these types of dabs makes me feel a little better, to be honest with you, to try to
I also
going on.
Way more
want to shout
optimistic.
out. I also just want to say, like, it's big ups and big respect to a lot of the farmers this season. A lot of farmers have dealt with some really crazy stuff with the fires, and that's
4
something we
million
haven't
acres.
touched. Yeah, so much, you guys, everywhere across the country. Just so you know, so much weed in California has burned, and people weren't smoking it. And it's sad, like so many growers have lost everything this season, and we just want to like acknowledge that does happen, and we are blessed and lucky to have access to material and access to give you guys hash in this crazy time right now. And just a reminder that my heart, and I think all of our hearts, go out to all the facilities and people who've lost things in the fire, the cannabis growers, the homes, the people.
It's terrible.
It's crazy. It's really crazy. So we are blessed. We are very lucky to be in a time with even things like that disaster stuff going on, and still have an opportunity to bring hash to people in this market, and that's a really amazing thing.
Yep. And if you're, a farmer out there in California, reach out. We could always help with programs if we do collaborations or splits and we want to donate funds. You let us know, like, what do we got to do to get involved? Because everyone has different organizations and different things that they subscribe to that help their community. So I think that's something that for this season, I think we'll put something together. I think would be a good program. So might give us like a week or so, but I think we'll do something where we can figure out how to donate and give back for everything that's done. So
we should definitely do something like that. And I also wanted to let SoCal know to watch out, because I'm going to do some Blue River swag stash and dashes coming here in the
Dang.
near future.
what's that?
I'm just going to take some swag, some hoodies and some stickers and some good stuff, and I'm going to put it somewhere secret, and we're going to post about it, and someone's going
Oh
to
my
get
God, that's
lucky
so
and
funny.
go find it.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'll have
man.
to. All right, that's it. If you're gonna do it, then I'm gonna do it for NorCal. Then
Yeah, we're going to get some stash and dashes going for y'all out there. We know you're cooped up with quarantine.
Maybe.
There is also we started putting the little holographic and the collectible stickers with the swag prizes on them.
That's also a thing.
Tyronis.
Yeah, if you're buying Fawn or Taroni at the store right now and you find a holographic sticker, don't just stick that thing on something. Actually, stick it on something, because that's really cool. But flip it over and there's a code, and you can reach out to Blue River and you'll get some free swag. And I believe it's all just swag. Like, so if you come to California on vacation and get something, like, most of the prizes could probably get shipped to you. Most of it, what it is, I believe, is clothing or Blue River.
Yeah, it was like
branded stuff.
the limited shirts, black and white shirts, all the lifestyle things you see that are supposed to be on a website that seem to always get given away and get captured by the massive amount of budtenders and stuff in California, which is really
That's where they all go.
It always goes there because everyone's like, "Oh, dude, let me get one of those," and like you can't say no. You know what I mean?
The budtenders want to show love. We got to let them show love. It's true.
So those are like, we got the bandanas and we got like dab mats now, but there is, the spinner set. So in the flan, there is a
some of
spinner
those
set.
flans.
There's a full-on spinner set that's in there.
A banger, Terp Pearls, and a Gordo Scientific Blue
Yep.
River collab spinner cap.
We got hat pins. We got hat pins too that are in there.
Yeah, hat pins.
We got some
And
dab mats.
There you go. Look at that.
Dab mats.
Yeah, This is some stuff you might find in Stash and Dashes. I don't know about one of those. I gotta talk to Tony about one of those, but
This
maybe.
is the Gordo set. I don't know if you can see
That's
it.
what I'm saying, Pat. Let's do the stash and dash like crazy. Let's go
Let's
with
get
like,
it. Okay,
let's go
SoCal, look out.
crazy.
We're gonna go with it.
That's what I'm
You
saying.
heard the
Let's
man.
do something
All I'm
crazy,
saying,
crazy.
too,
You heard
is
the
Like
man.
a whole, like a serious one. Like let's make it
All
like,
right.
well, let's put a spinner set in it.
All right, y'all gonna have to work for that one though. We're gonna find somewhere. You're gonna have to climb a mountain or something.
You know,
Y'all gonna
Like-
have to climb a mountain.
we'll make it good though. You got to make it
It'll
so
be
like, I
worth
like.
it.
So you're saying that like that we'll make them go on a like a crazy adventure to try to
Oh,
find
yeah.
something. Okay,
Oh yeah.
that
We're
sounds
gonna go
dope.
on. We're gonna go on a hike. There'll be clues. Y'all have to follow me on IG. Tony will definitely reshare everything so y'all can watch the stories and you'll find it. I'm gonna do something in Malibu, maybe this weekend if y'all are lucky. Maybe next weekend because I think my lady might be out of town this weekend. I think if we're gonna go to Malibu, both of us should be there.
You're so
Do it.
funny.
Dude.
Well, dude.
But yeah, it's gonna happen.
I want to say something. I like the idea of you running the show sometimes. I thought you did pretty good. You were like a real fanboy, and it was fun to watch.
I really like their product, man. I really do. It made because to be real, I have been dabbing so little up until when I got it because it just felt like a lot of work and it made it feel like a lot less work for me. And I like that
Yeah.
a lot. And like I said, I have the Terp penthouse in my fridge and it was really full. And since I got the dab right, it's definitely a lot less full than it was before. So I think for me that speaks volumes. If I keep using your product, like if I don't, I have, dude, there's a box around we're at my crib, Tony. I can show it to you somewhere around here with 3-4 emails in it, different temp devices.
Oh, I
old
know.
type tape,
I've
all the
watched you
stuff,
every week.
all the things. Man,
Every
all
week
the
you always
things.
showed me a new gadget. Until this one, I was like, I'm gonna get this one, and I actually agree.
I'm the gadget
it-
man.
You are the gadget man. You always have. I was like, oh, what's that? And you're like, oh, check this thing out. And it was like, again, still too much. Like it was like a weird beeper thing you had once, and it was there's just
Yeah, no, there's just and again, it's like I have all these things. I've had them all. I've had e-nails. I've had D-nails. I've had, the different temperature devices, the temp guns. I've had 5 or 6 different temp guns, a termometer. It broke. I actually really liked it until it broke. But all the different things, I've tried them all. And it's like, this is just one that I like. If I keep using something, I like it. And like a lot of times I get a device like that, everything, no matter what it is, even things like my Volcano, which I do love. And every 3 months or something, it
we
comes
should
out.
try to
and
give
makes
one
that-
of these. We should buy one of these and try to put it into like a prize and give it like into a next. Lawn drive.
Absolutely, and they said they want to do some stuff with other companies. Let's get some Blue River ones going. Let's get some colored
That's
ones
dope.
with a little Blue River on it, a little blue and white one. I think we could definitely do some stuff like that with them, and those could go into prizes, and those could be on the market for people who want to support both brands. And yeah, man, there's a big future for Dabrite, and I think there's a solid future for Blue River, and I think that you guys should tune in next time because we're gonna try to talk with Puffco about dabbing on
yeah.
the go.
We're gonna
talk about-
see. We're gonna see, right? We can't promise anything. Roger's a busy guy. I was
I
on
don't
a
know if we
panel
can
with
get Roger, but
I think
we
maybe
might be able
get
to get someone.
Chelsea.
We might be able to get
Maybe
Chelsea.
somebody.
or-
We could probably get
or
somebody.
we might be able to get fake Roger.
Yeah.
His,
I was just
his
on a
body
panel
double.
with him.
He's
I
a
was just on
great.
panel with
Roger's
him,
great.
He's great.
But we're gonna try to get some people from Puffco here, and if we can't, we're gonna at the very least talk about Puffco
100%.
Peaks and the Puffco Plus pen and dabbing on the go when you're on a hike in nature. If you're just busy and this is the device you have available to you, why we love this one too, because I love the Puffco products. I think that they do a great job, and I think that they're awesome for a lot of things, and we're going to talk all about it, including getting your grandma to take a dab.
The one thing I heard, I do have a puff. I have not opened it yet. I haven't got to it yet, but I have a pro, and I was told
mine is coming, so we'll both have them for the next
for the
show.
review it. And so I can tell you that I got some other people. I saw Nicotine revealed he had one, and it looks like from what I got is that the one cool thing about it, which I think is super dope, especially for like the fact that you can digitally control the temperature, and then you can save a setting. So like if I want to dab a certain way, I can set it digitally all the way down to like 250 or something, and then basically save the profiles like the flan setting and like Taroni and different things like that.
That sounds super cool. I'm really excited about all those things. I'm really excited. I heard it has a stealth mode where it has no lights at all whatsoever when it's on, which sounds really
Oh.
cool for me if you're like trying to take a
a
dab
car?
at or not even necessarily like at the drive-in theater
You're so
or,
funny, dude.
or you know, maybe at a show, maybe you
It's
like
true
put your
though.
Puffco in your
It is true
pocket
though, because
and
you
you
don't
got
want
it
to.
into the
Sometimes you don't.
venue.
I can't say that I've been in the window before and like I'm in my room and it lights up the whole room and you're like, it
Yeah,
looks like
I
there's
have a-
some Tron face.
I have a homie who has one that does like all the stuff, and it's cool. It's a cool thing. But like we're in the car on the freeway, and
He
he's like, "Let me
blows
get
you
a
up.
dab," and it's just like, listen, there's a rave in the car, man. It's like not safe at all. And I'm not advocating dabbing and driving. Don't do it, people. But like, you know, he made his choice. He did what he did,
Jesus.
and yeah, you know, sometimes you just want to be discreet about those things. Maybe you're visiting your mother-in-law and you're like trying to take a dab in the backyard at night. Who knows? It's just
Oh
not
my
having
God.
any lights for it sounds great.
Yeah, that's true. You don't want to get blown up.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to keep it hush, you know? Maybe you're like out back at the family gathering where weed's not kosher. You're trying to
Mhm.
like keep it real discreet. But we'll talk all about that next time. I think I had a
Yeah.
great time. I think Dabra
Yeah,
had
me
a great
too.
time. And thanks, y'all. Thanks everyone for coming. It was super fun. I can't wait to do it again. Deuces.
Awesome.
All right, later, guys.